Hello, welcome to Fix It Tony. Today is a making day project. So the project today is a wooden box, and this wooden box has a organized socket set for a 1/4-inch drive socket set with a small little mini ratchet. I really like this ratchet. I bought it. It's a Wera, made in Germany. It's so cute. I felt like I needed to have a cute box for it. And as you can see here, this box is lined with shadow foam, and that's what today's project is. Stay tuned. I'll show you how it was made. The first step, so I have this book, the sketchbook, and the sketchbook has some things that I've worked on or planning on working on. And so one of the my box started off as a sketch, and the sketch was, how do I want to lay my box out? I had to take important dimensions. I had to know how thick my shadow foam was. I had to know the dimensions of my sockets, and all the different components, and some conceptual drawings, measurements, conversions to socket size and outside diameter, and then more detailed. This is actually, I think, a full scale rendering of the actual socket set box. So I spent time, a couple hours drafting out the design, put it on paper, and then I was lucky, and this whole project started not just because I have the socket, but also my son is in high school, and he had a course in engineering graphics, and he had an opportunity to use the school's laser cutter. And so I'm like, I'll double down and get this box designed, and he came back with some measurement clarifications, and we sort of together built this box. My son used online software for CAD drawing, and he did all of the transformation of paper measurements into the computer, and then from the computer it was then transferred to the laser cutter. So let's take a look at how that process is. All the parts have been cut out using the laser cutter, and you can see sort of what happens. You have the burn marks, you have the burn edges, and mainly on the one side, not too bad. This is going to be covered up with foam. The back side doesn't look too bad. It's pretty smooth, for the plywood, and as it's sort of, how it comes together, because of these, tab and slot joinery, you can sort of see how this sort of comes together. All right. So before I do any gluing and assembly, I'm going to hit with my random orbit sander both surfaces. And this is the lid that will go on top of the box. The other thing we did, or that my son actually did for me, was we engraved, with the help of the school, the basically circles that are representative of the size of the socket with the fractional size of the socket beneath the circle, so that there's a quick reference when you open the lid. If you're looking for 1/4 inch, you kind of know exactly where it's going to be. So that's engraved on the inside of the lid. So when you flip it open, then you see the reference lines. So after I sanded both sides and removed the burn marks, I needed to do some dry assembly first. So the dry assembly, basically just put the stuff together, get a feel for how it's going to feel and look like. I laid out these clamps just to illustrate that unless you have smaller scale clamps, these are, cast iron, they're very heavy and unbalanced and not necessary when you're assembling a box this dainty together. Instead, I'm going to use masking tape, and masking tape is going to I'll be tugging it and pulling under pressure, and that'll help keep everything together. If you have smaller clamps, much lighter duty and more miniature, you may be able to do it. You have to apply glue to every mating surface, and I'm going to do all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mating surfaces all together at once and do one complete assembly in one motion. So that's the plan there. So I'm pulling, pressing. If you pull too much, the tape will tear. Readjust this one now. When I come back, this will be dry. We'll take it apart and we'll then work on some further assembly. The box is glued. I removed the tape, and I kind of like how the dark alternating with the light look. Now the tabs are a little bit past, not exactly flush. If I were to sand them flush, it would be smooth, but then I lose the contrast because I'd be sanding off the laser burns. So I'm gonna make the decision that I like to keep the color, and as a result, not sand it and leave it a little bit bumpy. So the next step is I have this shadow foam. Shadow foam allows you to cut and organize your pieces. So each socket will have its own hole, and it'll go all the way through. And then when you pull it out, a yellow layer will be revealed, highlighting the absence of the tool. So the first thing I need to do is measure the inside dimensions of the box and cut the shadow foam piece so that. Okay. So I'm going to try. I think I'm going to cut on the inside, and I'm going to go straight down and sort of do a saw motion. Yeah, that's how it's going to work. And then I can push that down all the way too if I wanted to. Make it flush, and I can still pinch it and grab it out. So I'm happy with this. I think it's going to turn out. I'll just keep working away. I almost forgot I purchased a electric foam cutting tool. This looks like it's, what is this? A marker. Okay, we have a couple of different irons. This looks like it could be a circle cutting iron. It'll go in. I don't know, yeah, that's interesting. Huh, this one here, I might use this one to chamfer. Or do I use this one to go in? Ah, interesting. That will go, this is definitely too wide. This must be a stand. Okay, now let's see if this is hot enough. I guess what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to figure out why it's not melting as fast as I thought it would be. I am outside now, so what I'm doing is poking holes. I think the tape is the culprit. Well, it doesn't look pretty. It doesn't look like a factory circle. You know, will it hold the, it just has to hold the socket. So it does fit. Okay. So I am eager to get this in, just to sort of see it. But I know I have to be mindful of where I put my hinges, which will be on the outside. And I think it'll be all right. So the first things first is put this in. This is friction fit. This is all going to be friction fit. I'm going to adhere the blue to the yellow, but I don't want to do it first because if I misplace it just a little bit wonky, then it won't fit nicely and evenly into the box. So I'm going to put the yellow one in, the yellow base first. I like how it fits very, very firmly. I'm going to remove the adhesive backing. Okay. Then I'm going to slide this down and press it down. You can kind of get a glimpse that it's yellow underneath, right? There. So now I'm shaking the lid, trying to pop it up. Nope. All right. Well, I think that's done. I have to decide how I'm going to finish this. I'm going to sleep on that. If I shake the box, so far a piece has not gotten loose. Let's see what happens. Everything is still in its place. Splendid. So I guess that's it. Voila. Thank you so much for watching this video on how to make a custom box for a tool and using shadow foam. Hope you liked it. Hope it gave you some inspiration on something that you can build. I think this would be a nice gift for someone. Thanks for watching. Please forward and subscribe.